Hello, good evening. It's Friday. It is 7:30, so it is only one thing. It is time for the Arsenal Women's Show. And what a show we've got for you tonight. Of course, we're going to look back on that incredible game last weekend against West Ham. Wow, what a game that was. We've got a lot to talk about there, of course. The FA Cup is back, of course, this weekend. Arsenal face Liverpool for a place in the semi-final. Wow. Are we going to get that trophy back for the first time in, 9 years? It's about time, isn't it? We're also going to talk about, I know we talked about it briefly last week, but we will talk about the proposed changes to the top two divisions in women's football, what it might mean. Not really going to necessarily mean too much for Arsenal necessarily, but it's going to affect, obviously, the game in general. So we'll have a little talk about that. Of course, your questions and your comments as well, and it's all to come the other side of this. And of course, fresh from that fantastic game last weekend at Meadow Park, it is, of course, Andreas is with us. How are you? Must have enjoyed yourself last weekend.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be back and glad to be in the show and can discuss everything that happened. What a roller coaster and how many emotions, not only on the pitch, but also on the stands. And I'm happy to talk about this. Yeah, looking forward to the show.
Yeah, it was an incredible game, and of course there is another big game coming up this weekend as well in the FA Cup, which is a fantastic competition. It's one that we need to get ourselves back to Wembley, but we'll look ahead to that one a little bit later on. And of course, as well, this time next Friday, we can't have a show because the women are playing against Everton. Of course, they've moved the game to the Friday, which helps us a little bit for the Champions League that's coming up. So we'll have a little look ahead to that game as well. But where else can we start apart from that quite amazing game last weekend at Meadow Park? Well, of course, Chloe Kelly got the headlines with her first goal since obviously re-signing for the club, and what a great goal it was. But I mean, this was a game that pretty much had everything, didn't it, that you could wish for in a game of football. Pretty much everything went on in that game. It was just the most incredible game I think I can remember seeing for a long, long time. The way we started the game and we were behind, and it looked as though it wasn't going to be our day, and then we fought our way back, and then we were behind by 2 again. And I mean, to score those 3 goals in 6 minutes or whatever it was in that second half was just relentless pressure from Arsenal. And we saw what impressed me, and Rene mentioned it as well. It was a different side to Arsenal because under this manager, we've not seen the team be in that situation, have we? 2-0 down and then 3-1 down. We've not been in those positions before. And to come back and show the determination that we did, I thought was really, really impressive. And hopefully, we don't want to be in that position too often, but at least now the girls have got experience of how to deal with that kind of situation and how to get out of it. Okay, yeah, West Ham aren't one of the top teams. It's going to be more difficult to come back in those situations, but it's difficult enough anyway against anybody. And the fact that we did it, that was what impressed me the most. I mean, there were so many good performances, but it was also a game littered with a lot of mistakes, obviously, conceding the goals that we did, really poor. And that's something that is unusual. We haven't conceded goals like that for a long time, really. So everything seemed to go on. It was the good and the bad side of this team. But ultimately, we got the win, and that was so important when you look at the result, obviously, that Manchester City got during the week as well. So, I mean, Andreas, you were there, obviously, at Meadow Park. If you haven't seen the vlog, do check it out because it is fantastic, as always. I mean, the atmosphere seemed amazing in the ground, actually, to be honest. And it was just the most incredible game, wasn't it? It must have been amazing to have been there.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that I was there live at Meadow Park and not watching it at home on TV. It's totally different. But first of all, if you go to a home game against West Ham, you don't expect a 7 goals thriller and all these emotions. I said before, I was expecting or predicting a 2-0 win. We will have problems after the international break. And as always, the big teams struggle a bit after an international break. And normally you have to survive the first 20, 30 minutes. And if it's still 0-0, then you get into the game and then you can start to make your game. But this time, after 13 minutes, we were 2-0 down. What happened there? And I think nobody really thought that if you look at the first half in total, nobody thought that we can turn it around, because it was the worst 45 minutes for a very long time. Our midfield was not present. The defense, I don't know what happened in defending corners. And if you look at the whole performance, I think very rarely Emily Fox had a very bad match. And Steph Catley she was terrible. We often said how good Steph performed in this season. And on last Sunday, she was terrible. I think she wouldn't have started if Lotta was fit, because of the international break. And Steph played all 3 games for Australia. I think she played 3 times 90 minutes. And then the journey back from the USA and the jet lag, etc. She wouldn't have started. But yeah, she had to start as Lotta is out for a while. And then in midfield, Kim and Wally had both a bad day at the office, as we say. And that's also very rare that both are playing so weak. And therefore, the defense was terrible in the first 50 minutes, but the midfield didn't exist in the first half. Fortunately, we got one back, this really wonderful goal from Chloe. What wasn't easy to score. I mean, it was a very good cross. I think it came from Katie. And then
it was Mariana's cross.
Oh, Mariana, yes. But it was not dedicated for Chloe. I think it should reach Leslie. So I think, as far as I saw it, this was the intention. But then Chloe realized the situation, and in the perfect moment, she made the steps forward. And it was not easy to score. It was a brilliant goal from her, and you see what she can bring to the team, and also a celebration after the goal, these emotions she brings in. Yeah, it's different when a player like Chloe scores such a goal, or maybe Kim would have scored, or Wally. They don't bring these emotions, and this was important. And at half time, we were down, but the belief was back for 5 minutes. And then when they scored the third, what was another terrible defended situation from Steph, I said to my neighbor, okay, game over. 3-1 down, and the momentum from having one goal back was over, and 5 minutes in the second half, and you concede another. I think at that moment I thought it's over. And then all thumbs up and credit to Renee. She reacted immediately. We conceded in the 51st minute, and in 55th minute she made 2 subs. And not that she made substitutions, but she took Wally and Kim out. And I'm absolutely sure that Jonas wouldn't have reacted in this way. He wouldn't have substituted in the 55th minute. He would have waited 10 or 15 minutes more, and he wouldn't take Kim and Wally out. And this was the perfect and the right decision. Kyra and Caitlin on, they changed the game. I think after this game, you have to say Kyra has to start every game. It's only the question whether she starts with Kim or Kyra with Wally. And Caitlin, if she's fit, she has to start on the wings, because she's always a threat for every opposition, because she stays on the wing. And this changes the whole attacking line, the whole offense from Arsenal. And then at the right time, Katie scored a wonder goal. You can't score from this position where she scored, but it's Katie McCabe. She tries it, and sometimes it works. 3 minutes later, Leah with this monster header, and then all the emotions from the stands, and the atmosphere was there. I think everybody believed then in the team, and the team itself, they believed they can turn it around. One of the clearest handballs you saw led to the penalty, but the referee didn't see it at first.
No.
Everybody shouted on the pitch. Everybody shouted handball, and it looked as if he would let the game continue. And then he made. I think his assistant called him and said handball. And on TV you could see she made like in volleyball or in netball. It was the clearest handball you could imagine. Yeah, and then 4-3, and we brought it home. And yeah, I think we will talk about the last 2 minutes or extra time later.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought when it was 4-3 and there was still half an hour or so to play, wasn't it? Just a bit less than half an hour to play, and I thought we'll go on and get another goal or two and just to completely seal it. But when we didn't, suddenly West Ham felt they could still get something from the game, didn't they? And I mean, I kind of agree. Steph and Emily shouldn't have really played. Because of the travelling that they'd done. You could see they were off the pace of the game right from the start. And maybe if we had other options, I mean, we do have other options, I suppose, but if we'd had maybe better options that were fit and ready to play, they probably wouldn't have started. And I think that did cost us pretty much all the goals that we conceded, really, when you look at it. And West Ham kind of got the feeling of West Ham, they made some positive substitutions of their own, and you kind of felt that they thought they could get another goal because of our defending. And almost at the end there, they did, didn't they? I mean, it was an incredible save from Daphne, and it was an incredible clearance from Beth to hack the ball away. It looked like a clear chance for them to score, and somehow the ball didn't go in, and we got away with that one a little bit. But I mean, I still think that although we didn't necessarily play brilliantly throughout the game, there were spells where we were really, really good, especially that early part of the second half, and there were spells where we had to dig in. But I don't know, I thought we deserved to win the game. I think it would have been a bit of an injustice had they got that 4-4 goal right at the end. I don't think they deserved anything from the game, West Ham. They only had 3-4 chances at goal, really, and scored with 3 of them. And we had a lot more chances than we took, especially in the first half. We had a few shots that were straight at the keeper and stuff, and then we hit the woodwork as well, I think, didn't we, at one point as well? So, you know, I thought, so I thought we deserved to win the game, but you know, it was such an amazing game of football. And you know, it was good that it was on Sky TV, because what it meant was that audience got to witness a women's game of football that had everything, really. And you know, I think, you know, we've had some comments even on the show a few times when people are a little bit, well, you know, women's football's not that good and stuff like that. But if anybody watched that game, and you've maybe never watched women's football before, you was a bit sceptical about women's football, I'm not sure about it, and you watch that game, I think you'd have come away from that game thinking, wow, that was an incredible game of football. And it doesn't matter that it's women. It doesn't matter about that. What matters is the entertainment that you get, the quality that you got. Because I mean, okay, there were mistakes in the game, but of course, it's sport. You're going to get mistakes, but the quality that was on show as well. And I just thought that it was such a good advert for women's football. And that's the type of game, when it's on telly, that gets the crowds to want to come back again, isn't it? That's the important part of it, isn't it? Because, you know, I think in the Premier League in particular, men's football in general now, you get a lot of negative tactics, you get a lot of boring football. And if it wasn't what it was already with the crowds and stuff, I don't think you'd attract new audience to it. But women's football, you can see how, I don't know, how exciting it is. And yes, okay, tactically you could pick it apart and say terrible defending here, there and there. Yeah, fine, but it doesn't matter. It was great entertainment, wasn't it?
It was exciting until the last second, until the final whistle. And after the 4-3, we had chances to score a 5th or 6th goal, and we should have scored to seal the deal. And then in the last seconds, in the dying seconds of the game, I'm pretty sure West Ham would have equalized if we don't have Daphne in goal. 2 brilliant saves. Absolutely brilliant when Anouk Denton this shot that Daphne could clear over the bar, and then after the corner she also had her fingertips and cleared the ball to the crossbar. before Beth made this unbelievable clearance. So Daphne saved us the win. And you know me, I have always statistics. So we had 72% ball possession. So this underlines what you said. We deserved the win. We had 10 corners. West Ham had 3. They scored twice from 3 corners. We had 24 to 11 shots in total and 13 to 7 shots on target. 13 shots on target. So this statistics all underline that we deserved the win, but in the end we were lucky to have Daphne in goal. She was together with Kyra and Caitlin and maybe Leah, who had also a good match. Daphne was one of our match winners, and fortunately she's our number 1 now.
I mean, I've always known what a great goalkeeper she is and she can be. And, you know, every time she produces stuff like that, saves like that, I think to myself, wow, I'm so grateful that the club managed to get her, because she is a fantastic goalkeeper. And, you know, I saw some criticism of her for the second goal, I think it was in particular, where I didn't think I thought she was a bit unlucky because she saved the initial effort and it just kind of, she wasn't quite able to save the second one that came back in at her. But I don't know, she's, you know, sometimes, you know, we've let in some goals and you think, well, could she have saved it? But I think overall, you've got to look at it. The amount of time she saved us in games with crucial saves at crucial times, it's happened a lot this season, hasn't it? And that was obviously one of the best examples of it, because that gained us 2 points, and those 2 points may well prove to be absolutely important come the end of the season with the top 3, particularly, you know, those 2 points that she saved us there. And she's done it before a few times as well, not just in that game. But you're right, Daphne deserves a lot of credit for the performance that she gave. I mean, it seems strange, really, because for me, I thought Leah Williamson, that was her best performance for us for a long time. That was the Leah Williamson that we always knew. It's been in there, but hasn't really come out enough, certainly this season. So I thought that she was brilliant. Daphne was brilliant. And they're 2 defensive players, and yet we conceded 3 goals for the first time under Rene's since she's been manager. And yet had 2 of our best players on the day were 2 defensive players. It just seems strange, but that was the sort of game it was. Obviously, Chloe Kelly, we've got to talk about her. You know, she had a great game as well, didn't she? Let's be honest, she was fantastic. And I thought, you know, all the way through the game, she was a threat. She was, you know, she was working hard to win the ball. She had quality with the ball. Some of the balls she put in were great. The goal she got, as you said, the cross wasn't, I don't think it was initially meant for her, but she read it so well, didn't she? She made the run, got in between the defenders and finished it off brilliantly. A difficult chance. You know, you might look at it and think, well, she's close in, it's quite easy, but it wasn't. To keep that under control and stop it going over the bar was an incredible bit of skill, and that was a fantastic goal. And I thought that's, you know, that there was a few, you know, there's been some negativity around Chloe Kelly a little bit, you know, the signing of why have we signed a player like Chloe Kelly. We saw on Sunday why we signed a player like Chloe Kelly, because she's a great player that can be a game changer on her day. Absolutely she can. And I was glad that she had such a good game, because I really like Chloe Kelly and I think she's a good player. And I think hopefully now everybody can get behind her and say, you know what, if we've only got her till the end of the season, she's going to make a difference in the game she plays. And if we can hopefully get her permanently at the end of the season, then I think that's a good signing going forward for next year. I really do, because I think she's still a great player with a lot, and she's got a point to prove as well, hasn't she, with the Euros coming up and whatever. She wants to get in that squad for the final. So I think we've got nothing we've got nothing to lose and everything to gain from having her. And we saw on Sunday, when she's fired up like she is, and she's going to be now, she's a great player. And I thought her performance, I think the supporters club gave her a player of the match. The TV gave it to Leah Williamson. And, you know, as you said, Daphne was in with a shout. There was a few players. Caitlin Ford, who came off the bench, was brilliant. Kyra was brilliant. You know, there were so many good performances. It almost seemed strange that we played so badly for spells in that game. And yet so many players played well. It was that sort of a game. You can't understand it. It made no sense. None of it made sense, pretty much from the first few minutes when West Ham scored with their first attack, right the way down, like you said, to the final minute when we're scrambling the ball from outside, you know, from inside our 6-yard box. The whole game made no sense, but it doesn't matter because it was just fantastic and we got the win, so we don't care. But yeah, I mean, what did you make of Chloe Kelly? Obviously, seeing her play in the stadium must have been really, really exciting, because she looked like she had such a great game.
Yeah, she had a very good game. And one thing is, when you have Chloe Kelly in your team, one thing is sure: she leaves her heart on the pitch. She does everything and fights for every inch on the pitch, and that's important. It's like we have with Katie McCabe. So these are the players. They fight for every inch, for every centimeter. They give everything in every tackle, in every situation. And this was important in such a match when you're 2-0 and 3-1 down. It's important to have such players. And of course, the emotions she shows, and she takes the supporters with her. That's very, very important. And besides this, she had a really good game. She was always dangerous on the wings, but also when she scored the goal, she reads the situation very well when she has to come in the middle. Only one critics I have: she defended not well in the first half. I think this is a thing. She didn't have to do this at Man City when she was playing there. So the defensive work, or the connection with Emily Fox was not the best. And maybe it's one of the things West Ham was aware before, that this combination Fox Kelly is they are not used to each other, and so West Ham tried to overload us on their side. And when Emily has not her best day, and then she lacks the defensive work from the winger, from Chloe, then this created the difficult situations. But well, it was her first start, Chloe Kelly's first start after she signed. So of course it can't work everything. You can't do everything in training. You must this togetherness, this gale together, you must learn this in matches. And it was the first match, and you could see in the second half things were better. And also I think Emily had fitness problems, or she came out very early at halftime. I don't know whether this could be seen on Sky. And she was sort of warming up while the other girls were still in the dressing room at halftime. So there was fitness issue for Emily. But back to Chloe, very, very good match. And she proved how important she can be. On Sunday, she will be cup-tied, I think. But for the next game away at Everton, she will be available again. And I think rotation is needed. And so far, it looks as if she can be important in the rest of the season, and she will get her minutes in the WSL. I'm pretty sure she will. And then let's see what happens. Let's see how Chloe will think about the situation, how Renee thinks at the end of the season, whether they think about a permanent signing. Let's see. But at the moment, we have her, and she can be very important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And what kind of? And I know Beth's been injured a little bit, hasn't she? She's had a little niggly injury and stuff, and she's not played that much lately. But I just felt in that game, and it's only one game. I'm not getting carried away or anything like that, but I thought Chloe looked more effective than Beth in that position on Sunday than Beth has done for quite a while. And you know, Beth always chipped in with a goal. Chloe chipped in with a goal. I kind of felt that overall she looked a little bit better in that position than Beth has done this season. Apart from the odd game here and there, Beth's done okay. But I don't know. I thought Chloe had more of an impact in that one game than Beth has for most games this season. I just felt that, and I feel as though maybe Beth's going to struggle to get a regular game in the WSL. Obviously she can play in the cup games because Chloe can't play, but I feel as though in the WSL Chloe's going to be almost like a first choice pick now after that performance, because it's the only competition she can play in anyway, so you might as well play her. We might as well play her in it because she can't play in the other games, and you can rest and rotate them. Beth can be rested for the cup games, and like you said, maybe Caitlin a little bit as well. We've got that option now. But yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with her, actually. I've got to be honest. I didn't really know what to expect. She's not played much football this season. I'm thinking, you know, is it a good signing? Is she ready to play at that level because she's not played but she showed exactly that she is ready and she can have an impact. And I'm really excited for the rest of the season when she's going to play, because I thought she was really, really good. And that's great, isn't it? We've got some comments in. Lethal Chicken says, good evening. What a game with West Ham, all the emotions it was. And Chloe Kelly, what an amazing game. Yeah, absolutely. Chloe Kelly, we just said there, was brilliant. Ian says, even it was a great game, a good win. Yeah, it was a good win in the end. We just got it over the line, didn't we? Fantastic stuff there. We've got a comment there from Iganoba says, Chelsea Man City played midweek. We did not play. Yeah, I mean, Lethal Chickens answered it there, because of course Chelsea and Man City are playing in the League Cup final next week. So they moved their games to get them played. Yeah, we're not in that, so that's fine. That was the issue there. Andy's well say doing it. Where's the boys and girls? Well, everybody's here. Greg's here now. He says, just listening about the game, which I felt we were lucky to win. We were poor. In spells we were poor, absolutely. We were poor in spells of the game, but I didn't think we were lucky to win. I thought we were, well, I mean, we were lucky in moments, I suppose, but I don't know. I thought we deserved to win overall. Terry's with us, of course. Terry is with us. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're well. Greg says, we were 2 yards short of pace and the team looked very tired. Yeah, I agree. I thought we did look tired, but that was the good thing about it was, despite the fact we were a little bit off the pace and we were tired and we were 2-0 down and then 3-1 down, we managed to find a way to win the game. And a lot of, like I think a few people have said before, under Jonas, would we have done that? I don't know. We've come back from behind before in games under Jonas and won, but in those set of circumstances, would we have done that under Jonas? I don't know. But that was what impressed me more. I mean, it's easy to say we didn't play very well. Yeah, we were off the pace, but we made mistakes. All this. Yeah, we did. And we were tired. Yes, we were. But we still found a way to come back and win the game. So that, to me, is a massive, massive positive. There's negatives, of course there is, but I thought I was more pleased with the reaction that we showed to all of the negative things that happened, and the fact that we were tired. We had nothing left to give in that game, and I think that's why West Ham almost snatched the goal at the end, because we were tired, mentally tired, physically tired. We had players that were struggling, but we got through, and I thought we did it as a team. Everybody worked hard at the end to get us over the line, and that's a positive. It is a positive. It might not have seemed it at the time. So there were some points in that game we were all pulling our hair out, scratching our heads, thinking, what on earth is going on? What are we doing? But ultimately, we got the job done, didn't we? And that's what matters. Ryan says, I have a clash. I'm listening to the Norwich game and the women's show. Well, okay. I hope Norwich are doing well for you. The second half was better than the first half. Yeah, well, by quite some distance from our perspective. Absolutely, yeah, of course. We got most of the goals in the second half, didn't we? Greg says possession means nothing. Stats mean nothing. Goals. Well, no, absolutely, and I agree. But the fact that we maybe that emphasises your point a bit, Greg. We had 72% possession in the game, and we almost win. And that is quite incredible, really, when you think about it. To have, that much possession, that's something that we need to improve our use of that possession a little bit more. I mean, we scored 4 goals, which is great. But yeah, we maybe need to, if we're going to have 72% possession in a game, you would expect us to win 4-0, wouldn't you? Let's be honest, or around about that sort of score. And the fact we struggled to get the game won is a problem and an issue. But I think the circumstances of that game were a little bit unusual with the international breaks and everything else and stuff that happened in the game. We're not going to see too many games like that, are we? Absolutely not. It's not good for the heart anyways, let's be honest. It's the 5-0s like against Tottenham are much easier to watch, aren't they? Because, it's more easier to enjoy. Vicky P says, great to meet you on Sunday. And did you meet Vicky?
Yeah. Hi, Vicky.
Good stuff. That's
cool. Me and said hi. So yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Good stuff. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. He says none of the goals were her mistake. The goal, no, I didn't think there was either. No, but people are always going to criticise a goal kick when they're letting 3 goals, I suppose, aren't they? That's the way it goes, isn't it? Terry says I agree with Greg. It's West Ham. We were too slow. Our passing was crap. We looked like we only just met each other. It was. We had some bad spells, but to score those 3 goals in 6 minutes, that took a lot of. And that pressure that we put on them for that sort of 10-minute spell was just incredible. I remember there was one point in the game where the ball just kept going into the box, into their box, and you knew eventually we'd score a goal because the pressure was so great. And I thought, in all the circle, that was so good. Ryan there's obviously giving Daphne some flowers, which she deserves. Vicky says there, watch West Ham climb the table. Good business done by Skinner. Yeah, they got a good result, obviously, against Man City in the week as well, didn't they? They got a draw. And they were 1-0 down right at the end and got a late goal. So, yeah, I agree. I think West Ham looked a very good side. They had threats. They tactically, they were really good. And yeah, I agree. I think West Ham will now start to climb the table. And next season could be a good season for them, couldn't it? They could be a threat to the big teams. I mean, look at what they've done this week. 2 of the top 4 teams, they could easily have got more points than the one they did get. So yeah, no, I agree. I think I was impressed with West Ham, and you can criticise us. Yes, we deserve some criticism for spells in that game, but let's give West Ham credit because they played well. I thought tactically they got that game almost spot on, didn't they? Tactically, they were brilliant. They defended well. They played the 5 at the back, and then they looked dangerous on the counter-attack. They had some pace. They had some quality up there. The third goal in particular, well, yeah, okay, you can look at our defending. As we said, Steph got completely, she committed herself far too easily and got turned. But I thought the counter-attack was good play from West Ham, and they did that a few times in the game. That's how they got the 2 corners from counter-attacks and stuff. So, yeah, I agree. I think West Ham are going to do well, yeah, absolutely. Lethal Chicken says, I think Chloe being at the club for now, it will encourage Beth Caitlin to improve their game. Not that they're necessarily bad, but having healthy competition for the positions. But absolutely. The more good players you've got for each position, the better everybody's got to play. Because everybody wants to be in a team, don't they? No one wants to sit on the bench every week. Everyone wants to be in a team, and the way you get in a team is to, when you play, to improve your game. If someone's in the team ahead of you, you've got to prove in training, and then when you do get your chance on the pitch, that you deserve that start. And it is good. Competition is great. I've got no problem with competition. I think it's what's needed in professional sport. If you've got no competition, then what's the point? You've got to have that depth, and that's the one good thing that Chloe's going to bring. If nothing else, it's that competition in the squad and in the team, and that's important, and it's really, really good to see. And hopefully we'll have Renee might have a few problems with team selection in some of the games, and that's you want to see that, don't we? We want to see problems with team selection. We don't want it to be easy, just pick the same 11 players every week because they're the only 11 players that can do the job, like we've seen in the men's team too many times. It's nice to have a selection problem where the manager's got to think, well, actually, I can pick this player, this player, and this player in that same position, and it's not going to weaken the team. And that's a great thing to have. And the more that we've got, the more chance we've got of being successful, because that's how you win trophies. That's how you win big trophies, because you have to be able to rotate your squad. You have to rest them and stuff like that, don't you? I mean, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
That's the strength Chelsea has. Look at their starting 11 from one week to another. How many changes Sonia can make against Leicester on Wednesday. There was no German, no Walsh, no Wrighton in the squad, not even in the squad. And they started Hamano and Beaver Jones and Oriane Jean-Francois, players who not usually start, but she throws them in 5-6 changes every game, and it's working. There is competition in the squad with 25 top quality players, and that's what we need to have too. We don't have 25 top quality players, but it's good to have the competition on the wings now, and that's what we have. And one word to Greg, I agree, statistics don't win the game. That's not what I want to say. I bring the statistics and everything just to underline that we deserve to win. And if you only see the statistics and haven't seen the game, you would say, of course, this is a game Arsenal has won 3-0, 4-0 with 72% position and the shots and everything. But we haven't. And this is not to say we had the better statistics, so we are winning the game. No. But we must learn from this. I think probably Renee and her team, they are analyzing the statistics as well. And they say, look at the statistics. Something was wrong. Why was our performance in the first half so bad? We must learn from this. We must improve. And that's the only thing, or the only reason why I bring every time these statistics. We also analyze it and learn from it. Not for the team, but for us. It's interesting, I think.
No, absolutely. I mean, I really like statistics anyway, and I don't necessarily think that it's what we should base all our opinions on. And I think you see a little bit too much out on social media. People go, oh, well, you know, how great are this team or that team due to these statistics and stuff. But I do think it is quite interesting, isn't it? You know, I didn't realise that 72% possession what we had in that game. I mean, obviously we dominated the ball as you'd have expected us to at home, but I wasn't expecting it to be that high. You know, I thought maybe 60% or so would have probably been what I would have expected. So it's quite interesting that actually it was that high, and the fact that we only scraped the win. That's an interesting comparison. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, oh yeah, well 72% means we played really, really well. No, it doesn't. What it means is we had a lot of the ball and we only just scraped over the line. In some ways, you could say that's more of a concern. In this particular game. I don't think that it's not a theme that's happening regular, is it? Regularly we have more possession than the opposition in most games because we're a better team than most teams in the league, and you would expect that, and usually we're winning games more comfortably than that against teams like West Ham. But you know, in this particular game I thought the stats are very interesting actually, and it kind of goes to show, doesn't it, that sometimes the stats don't always tell the total complete story of a match. And that they certainly didn't in that game, because 72% possession and a 4-3 win that we scraped over the line doesn't really tell that story, does it really? So yeah, I mean, I like stats personally. I think they are interesting, but let's not base every single thing on. And I think too much coaching and stuff these days is maybe it's too statistical based, isn't it? Managers will buy a player based on their running stats or their passing stats. And I'm not saying ignore those stats. No, look at them, but don't base all your decisions on them. Look at other aspects as well. And the same with a team's performance. You know, having 72% possession is good because it means if we've got the ball, they haven't. But it's how you use that possession. And obviously we wasn't efficient enough with that on Sunday. And I'm sure Rene and the coaching team will analyse that and look to improve that going forward. And I'm sure that we will improve. We won't necessarily get more possession in the game, but I'm sure we'll be more efficient with the possession that we have than we were in that particular game for a majority of it, where we wasn't particularly efficient. And West Ham were with their 18% that they had, 28% sorry that they had. They were much more efficient with it because they scored 3 goals, could have scored another couple because they had some chances. So, you know, that's good on West Ham, I suppose, isn't it? The fact they didn't have much of the ball and they almost got a result against one of the top teams. So there you go. Greg says, if playing international football gives us tired players, I hope they all get dropped from their national teams. Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose that it affects everybody, doesn't it? Everybody's got international players now, some more than others. Obviously, we had a lot more than West Ham, and that's probably what had an impact in this game. But I think the players want to play international football. They love it, don't they? It's what they do it for. You want to represent your country because it's the biggest honour that you can have. So I don't want to see them drop from their national teams. I don't know how we can. I think maybe there's too many international breaks. They come round too quickly, and the travelling involved and the recovery time isn't enough. What might be a better idea is to have an international break. So you have one Saturday, one weekend with no games because there's an international break. They play international games midweek, then have another break the following weekend for people to recover and then play again. That might be a better option. And I know you could say it's going to extend the season, but it wouldn't necessarily, because you could maybe throw a midweek game in later on when there's no international break, maybe to compensate for that. Maybe, I don't know, but that might be a better bet to give them more of a recovery time after when they've travelled. That might be an option to do it, because I don't want to see them not play for their countries, but I don't want to see them coming back and being tired and costing us, you know, with mistakes and stuff. It's a tough balance, isn't it? Because I think international football is important in the women's game, a lot more important in the women's game than it is in the men's game. International football, absolutely it is, and I don't think we should make it become less important. But we need to find a balance that's going to help the players, because it's no good for their fitness long term, is it? If they keep traveling around the world, coming back, playing 2 days later, it's not good. It's not good for them. We have to look out for the players as well. So yeah, it's something that needs to be looked at. They're looking at reorganising the game. That's something they can look at as well, maybe, but they won't because there's too much money involved, obviously. Vicky says, Chloe Kelly was my player of the match. So much energy. The crowd love her. Some of our players were jet lagged. Yeah, of course, like they were. There's no doubt. And yeah, you're right about Chloe Kelly, of course. Baraz is in. How are you doing? Good to see you. And he says international hangover. Yeah, it was, and we've had a few of them, haven't we? Unfortunately, it's the way it is, isn't it? Lucky says their international games mid-season are a nightmare for all top teams. Yeah, they are. They are as things stand now. So if they maybe looked at a way to do it differently, that would give more rest and recovery time. Maybe it can still work. But yeah, at the moment, it's an absolute nightmare. Yeah, we always hear the struggle, don't we? And says, I enjoyed watching Chloe Kelly. Yeah, I think we all did. She was brilliant. She was an absolute joy. LG says, Russo was poor, and I'm a big fan of hers. Yeah, she was poor. Was that, again, an international thing? I don't know. I thought she was poor, yeah. That's probably her worst game of the season, actually. I thought Russo. I thought she was really bad. But it happens, doesn't it? We'll let her off because she's been playing so well. And she's entitled to the odd game off form, isn't she? But, I'm sure she'll be back firing again on Sunday. Lethal Chicken says Emily has started coming out early for the past few games now, not just on Sunday. Has she? Right, okay. I mean, maybe I don't know why she would be doing that necessarily, but maybe that's what she needs. Maybe she's seizing up at half time and she doesn't want to, she wants to be moving about maybe. LG says, Beth literally put her body on the line at 4-3. That alone deserves playing. Well, no, she did. That was an amazing clearance. I mean, it was great that she did it. That's not really her job, is it? I suppose she's more of an attacking player. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if it deserved player of the match, but it was quite an incredible clearance and it was brave, absolutely. But that's what you expect from Beth, don't you? Really? Lucky says Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal struggled after the international break. Yeah. Well, they did, yeah, because obviously, Chelsea have had some strange performances lately, but they seem to get results still, don't they? That's the way it goes. HB says Arsenal has brought a smile to her face. Yeah, Chloe Kelly, of course it has, yeah. And that's good to see, isn't it? We want to see players enjoying themselves. Lethal Chicken says Chloe can play in can she play in the Champions League? Because if she can, that is great news.
Except if we face Man City, then she can't play. But on the other games in the Champions League, she's able to play. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great news and brilliant. Let's look forward to that then, because I think that's important, isn't it, to have every possible player available for those games in the Champions League? Because look what happened last time. We had all the injuries and we still managed to go almost all the way through. So if we've got everybody fit, we've got a hell of a chance. There's no doubt. Ange B says, Terry sadly can't be on tonight, but trust me, he's all good. Good stuff. Good that you're okay. Terry says, and when we kick her out at the end of the season, I'll have a massive smile on my face. Oh, don't be like that. She's a good player. What's the problem with her? Chloe Kelly's a good player. She's in the top echelon of players in the WSL, I think. On her day, she's brilliant. And we're lucky that we've got her. And B says it's not Teo we're talking about. No, it's not. He can definitely go. Gunnar 170 says, can Chloe Kelly play against Royal? Yeah, well, apparently she can. Yeah, that's what we're just hearing, which is great news, isn't it? So fantastic. Look forward to that. Terry says, let me guess, age, new TV, car sorted, and you've got loads of beer. And exactly, yeah, blue out. I don't know if that's the reason, but yeah, she's got a new telly, so why not watch that? Exactly. Terry says, sort yourself out. What are you talking about? I've sent the link to everybody. LG says, I wonder why Shakira Martinez never broke through at Frankfurt. She's too good. Yeah, she certainly was had a great game against us, but let's see how she gets on over the rest of the season. Terry says, I think at least 5 or 6 of our team have passed their best now. We need a clip. Well, I don't know about 5 or 6. I'd say maybe 2 or 3, maybe. I won't say we necessarily need a clear out. I think we need a slight boost to the squad, but I think that's natural anyway. And I think 1 or 2 players, I agree, probably are past their best and should be maybe phased out. We saw on Sunday a couple of them midfield, maybe certainly one of them. I think Kim Little's an interesting one because to me, I know she's just signed a new contract for next season, but do you think she's still got it in her? Because I don't think she has any. I think her legs have gone. I really do. And I've not just from Sunday, but this season in general.
Her minutes are limited already this season, And on Sunday, I think everybody saw that she shouldn't be a starter anymore. For me, Kyra is a starter now in midfield, and as I said, the question is Kyra combined with Wally or with Kim. And at the moment, I'd say Kyra and Wally should start, and maybe Kim can come on in the last 20 or 25 minutes. Of course, with her leadership qualities, she's still important, at least on the training pitch or in the dressing room, but not anymore as a starter. Or too many games in this season after which we said Kim wasn't at her best. It's really it's hard to say, because she's such a club legend, more than 350 appearances for the club, and scored so many goals and made so many good games, but her time is coming to an end. And for me, she's no longer a starter, but still an important part of the squad.
Yeah, I would like to see her more in a coaching role, actually, rather than a playing role so much. I mean, I do think her leadership and stuff off the pitch is massive, and obviously she should stay at the club. I think on the pitch now, I don't think she's got what she used to have. Obviously, I think her legs have gone, and we've seen a few times this season, as you said, it's not quite happened for her. And all good things, unfortunately, do come to an end, and especially with a player's career, no one can play forever, and you get to the point where it just doesn't. You can't do it anymore. And I think Kim's maybe getting towards that point, and maybe rather than drag it on and produce more performances like Sunday and have people that absolutely adore us questioning her now, and it's not good for her either. And I think maybe she shouldn't have really signed that 1-year extension as a player. She should have stayed on and maybe helped out with coaching and stuff next season and move forward from there. But I suppose her being signed on as a player doesn't mean she's going to play. It just means she's available and she can have that impact in the dressing room. Maybe that's the idea behind it. I don't know, but yeah, she's definitely the one that stands out, that her legs have gone, and maybe we need to be moving forward away from her in the team now. And I think that's what's going to happen. Ryan says, "Is it Vicky Pullover in the chat?" We keep thinking it might be Vicky Pullover. I'm not quite sure if it is. Which is nice if it was, wouldn't it? If you are watching Vicky Pullover, you're welcome to join in. Lethal Chicken says, "I could probably tell you Arsenal starting 11, or at least most of them, but Chelsea has so much depth, it's impossible to predict." Yeah, it is, exactly. And that's where the squad depth comes in, isn't it? But you've got to use the squad you've got. It's no good having 25 top players if you're going to pick the same 15 every week. You've got to rotate and use them, and Chelsea have done that well. And that if we get in that position where we've got a squad like that, that's what we'll have to do. Rotate. So it throws the opposition as well, doesn't it? Because they never know what team to expect. Wouldn't be predictable at the minute. I think we can make 2 or 3 changes in any game, and it's not going to make much difference, and that's a good thing. But yeah, I think you're right. You can almost predict 7 or 8 of our starting lineup most weeks when you know who's fit. You can, and that isn't necessarily a good thing overall, is it? You're right. Joe says Leah is coming into great form. Clearly, the ACL took a lot out of it. Absolutely, yeah. So from an England perspective, she's building to a peak that should hit right before the Euros. Yeah, let's hope so. And maybe that's part of it, isn't it? Maybe that's what she's kind of working towards. But you're right. She's a lot better now than she was, absolutely. And I thought Sunday she was brilliant overall. It was great that she got the goal, but her overall performance. It's last time she went away with England. She had a couple of good games with England, came back and played well. Obviously, she had a couple of good games with England, come back and played well. So sometimes the international break can have a positive impact on a player because they come back refreshed and revitalised, and that seems to be what's happened with Leah. But yeah. Let's hope that keeps building throughout this season. And yeah, let's hope in the summer when the Euros is on that not just her, but a few of the players all kind of hit form like they did, 3 years ago when we lifted the trophy. So there you go. Lucky says there, do you guys think the WSL is unpredictable in League F? I wonder if Barcelona players actually get bored of smashing every team. They beat second place Madrid 5-0. Yeah, I mean, I think the WSL is more unpredictable because it's got more depth in depth in the league. The lower teams can give the top teams a tough game, and that's, I wouldn't say it's unpredictable. Usually the big teams end up winning. You know, West Ham gave us a scare, but we won. You know, Leicester, for example, gave Chelsea a scare, but Chelsea won. And I think that is still happening. You're not getting shock results very often, whereas in the Spanish league, as you point out there, obviously Barcelona beat everybody easily, and it must be boring to watch. And I don't know, I suppose as a player you probably don't care because you're winning trophies and this, that, and the other. But I mean, I wouldn't say. Would you say, Andreas, that our leagues, it's not unpredictable in terms of results, is it? Because you don't get. You know, Brighton very rarely will beat Chelsea. I know they got a draw with them, but you know, you don't get results like that very often at all. Yeah, you can almost predict who's going to win certain games, not necessarily the scoreline. But we thought we beat West Ham. We did beat West Ham. Do you know what I mean? You don't get many shock results, do you, really, in the WSL, even now?
I would say the WSL is more competitive than the Spanish league or the French league. But of course, we have the top four in the WSL. And in the end, these top four will finish top four, no matter what happens during the season. And the good thing is the competitiveness of the league is growing year by year. And Chelsea has won every game except two. They drew against Leicester and against Brighton. But they have to work hard in every game. And a lot of games, there is only one goal difference for Chelsea. So, it's predictable that the top four teams will finish on top four at the end of the season. But all in all, the league is more competitive than other leagues and more competitive as it was 3 years or 5 years ago. And look how hard we have to fight against teams like West Ham or in the first half of the season against Liverpool, against Everton. It was all very narrow games, and the same for the two Manchester teams. So the top four have to fight really hard to win. And when you look at the Spanish league, Barcelona wins every game with 4 or 5 goals different. Last weekend, they have beaten Real Madrid 5-0, 4-0 at halftime. The team placed on second position. And the same is for the French league. There is Lyon and PSG. They are winning everything, and they have 2 really competitive games every season. That's when they face each other. And in the WSL, there are very, very much or more games that are very competitive, and you have to fight and work really hard to win. So the danger, of course, is there that the more money Chelsea invests and the more players they buy, it's working against the competitiveness of the league. But so far, I'm satisfied how competitive the WSL is.
Yeah, competitive is the word, definitely. It is more competitive, but we're still, I would still like it to get to a point where West Ham can beat Chelsea, Tottenham can beat Arsenal regularly, or not win the games, but regularly getting results against the teams. And that's why I want to get to that point, because that makes it, then that's what you want to see. Yes, okay, you could turn around and say, well, we want Arsenal to win every game, and we want Arsenal to win every game 6-0, and of course we do, but that's no good for the league as a whole, is it? It's no good for the league that Chelsea have won it 5, maybe 6 years in a row. That's not good for the WSL. Chelsea might enjoy it, but it makes, when you look at that, it makes our league no different to the Spanish league or the French league, because the same team's winning it every year, and that's no good. It's like the Premier League, Man City winning it 4 years in a row. Never happened before. That's not good for the league, and I don't want to see that. I'd like to see different teams winning the league every year. Be nice. It's never going to happen. Probably you're going to get the same, probably 3 teams with a chance, but hopefully we can get to a point where it is more unpredictable. The results are more unpredictable, and Chelsea are losing games to some of the lesser teams, if you like. Arsenal are losing. I mean, we tend to lose to the lesser teams anyway sometimes. But you know what I mean? And Man City are losing to them, and Man United are losing to them more, and stuff like that. And it'd be nice to get other team in the top three, wouldn't it? And Liverpool almost did it last year. They put a challenge in. It'd be nice for that to happen, you know, or you know, West Ham or Brighton or somebody. It'd be great for that to happen for the league. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's unpredictable, but yeah, competitive is a better way to look at it. Yeah, absolutely, and it is competitive, and that makes our league the better league. You know, Barcelona might win the Champions League more often, and Lyon have won the Champions League more often, but that doesn't mean their leagues are better, because they're not. Their top team is better, but the rest of their league is poor. I don't think any of those teams in those leagues wouldn't be able to compete in the WSL. They would not compete in the WSL. Even teams like Crystal Palace would probably beat them. Do you know what I mean? That's how poor their standard is. So that's something that we need to be proud of in our league, but there's still more work to do, because we don't want to see Chelsea winning the league every year, do we? Definitely not. But there you go. Greg says, look at it the other way around. West Ham had 38% possession and scored 3 times. Well, they only had 28% possession, but yeah, you're right. They did score 3 times with that. LG says, with Kim and Leah on the pitch, of course we're going to have 72% possession with 96% pass completion. Says, yeah, absolutely, because they're going to play simple balls a lot. Yeah, absolutely, you're right. But there you go. Terry says, 100%, Greg, Arteta possession football doesn't win you games. Look at the men's team. No, it's not just that does win you games. No, absolutely not. But without the ball, you're not going to score, right? You need to have the ball to score at some point in the game. Otherwise, you're never going to win anything, are you? But there you go. Egg says, good evening, Arsenal fans. Sweden celebrating 5 gold in the World Championship skiing. Well, have they? Well, Sweden should be quite good at skiing, shouldn't they? Because they've got the weather for it, haven't they? We're never going to be good at skiing, are we? Because we don't have enough snow. Even though we have terrible winters, it doesn't snow much, does it? But there you go. Let's what other comments have we got? Vicky says there too many sideways passes in midfield, but great for the stats. Yeah, I mean that was definitely true for the game at the weekend. Joe says he agrees with Vicky there. As soon as KCC and Caitlin came on, we played much more direct and positive attacking football. Yeah, we did. We got the ball forward quicker, and that obviously made a difference to the goals that we scored after that, really. Lethal Chicken said, I think Kim has signed last season for Arsenal. I think she will retire, yeah, and then she'll go into coaching, I'm sure. Let's hope so anyway. Greg says, give Kim the job to look after Win. Well, yeah, maybe that might be a job for her in the future. Wayne says, Kyra and Plover are the future of the midfield. Kim Little is a legend, but will naturally need fading out respectfully. Yeah, of course. And that's what we mean, you know. I don't want to see her legacy sort of clouded by her playing on for too long. You've seen it happen with other players, and it's like I don't think that's doing them any favours. Sometimes you've got to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, maybe I want to bow out while I'm still at the top, rather than fading away, not in a great way, maybe. Terry says, Meadow, Kim, Walty, and all the Swedish players need to go. Remember, we're in a charity. I don't know about all the Swedish players. I think there's one Swedish player, maybe 2 that maybe can go. There's a couple we should keep, maybe. Lethal Chicken says, I think Arsenal are very fortunate to have so many good leaders. Absolutely, yeah, we are fortunate, yeah. I mean, we've got a captain ready and waiting already anyway, haven't we, in Leah? So that's not going to be a problem, and there's 1 or 2 others that can step up as well. So yeah, you're right, we are lucky. There you go. Terry says, I'm just a big puppy dog. Of course you are, Terry. We know that. Greg says, give Kim the job to look after Win and give the captain to Leah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Leah should be captain anyway, really, now. But there you go. Vicky says, KCC was a game changer. Yeah, she absolutely was. Absolutely was. Ange B says, Captain Kimmy, God bless her wee legs. Yeah, exactly. They're running out of sort of steam now, aren't they? Unfortunately. But there you go. And says Kim loves the club so much, but yes, coaching right. Yeah, that's what I think so. Terry says fans need to fall in love with Arsenal, not the players or crap managers. That's our biggest problem. Well, I think you've got to love some of the players as well, but yeah, the club is the most important thing, because players, managers come and go, but the clubs remains and the fans remain. So yeah, absolutely, don't get too attached to individual people. Maybe get attached to the dog because the dog's quite sweet and all that, but don't get attached to individual players because they come and go. Absolutely. Just love them while they're here and enjoy them while they're here, and then when they go, they move on, and we move on and enjoy someone else. That's how it works, isn't it? You hear a comment quite a lot, don't you, from managers who's when they're asked about, well, what's the injury situation? Is this player fit? Is that player fit? I mean, well, let's focus on the players that can play. That's what you need to worry about. Don't worry about the players that can't play. Don't worry about the players who have left. Focus on the players that are there and are playing. They're what matters, not anything else. But there you go. LG says, bring back Joe Montemurro. We won 4-0 every week. We didn't win 4-0 every week, did we? But it was quite a lot of fun at times, wasn't it, under Joe Montemurro, let's be honest. Joe says, what do we do about goalkeepers? Manu is not good enough. So who steps in if DVD gets injured? We need a class goalie. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I think Manu obviously will play because she's played in the cup games and stuff. So I think if she got injured, if Daphne gets injured now, Manu would play. But I think you're right, going forward, we need a better backup goalkeeper now. Absolutely, we do. Is Naomi Williams ready to step up? Probably not. Not seen enough of her, to be honest. She played in that American game, didn't she, in America pre-season, and she did all right. But I think we need, I don't know if we need a class goalie. It's difficult for a number 2 goalkeeper, isn't it? Because they very rarely play. But you don't want a number 2 goalkeeper who's not good enough. You know, I would have been quite happy if we'd kept Sabrina, because she'd have been a great number 2 goalkeeper with Daphne. That'd have been 2 good goalkeepers to have, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, she wasn't prepared to keep waiting and waiting for it. You can understand why. But yeah, a number 2, it's a difficult one, isn't it, Andreas? A number 2 goalkeeper, because they want to be playing, and you're not going to have a top goalkeeper as a number 2, are you? You're just not going to have it. It's not going to happen. No one does.
No, that's a difficult situation for every top team. You want to have 2 very good goalkeepers, but no goalkeeper who wants to play international is willing to sit on the bench all the time, and only have a few cup games against the lower league teams. That's not sufficient for someone who has the ambition to develop and to play international for your country. So I don't think that Manu is satisfied with her role at the moment. If she's honest to herself, she must have realized she's only number 2 at Arsenal, and she wants to play for Austria, and there's competition too. So if she doesn't play, she can't expect to be number 1 for Austria. Same situation was for Sabrina D'Angelo. She wants to play for Canada, but not if she sits on the bench all the time. It's difficult. Yeah. Can Naomi be a good number 2? I don't know. I don't know what the club is doing. I think Manu still has 1 year on her contract. But you also know about her family situation with the little child they have. Her wife and the child are not living in the UK. And then sitting on the bench, she might want to move on. And I think for us, it would be the best. For us and for her, it would be the best to move on, because she can't win against Daphne. Daphne is on the way to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it will be difficult to find someone who is willing to sit on the bench, a younger goalkeeper, but Daphne is still 24. I think maybe she went 25 this week, but she's still young. And if you get a talented goalkeeper, 21, 22 years old, who is willing to learn for the next 2 seasons or so, but maybe Naomi can be the solution. I don't know. It's difficult.
It is difficult, yeah. A number 2 goalkeeper is probably the worst position in football, because you can be a number 2 striker, you can be a number 2 defender or a number 2 midfield player. You're going to get opportunities to play fairly regularly throughout a season. You're going to come off the bench, you're going to be on the pitch. If you're a number 2 goalkeeper, you're not going to get to play very much, are you? And it's the worst job in football, apart from probably cleaning the changing rooms and stuff. But it's certainly one of the worst jobs, isn't it? And it is difficult, but we can't complain too much at the moment, because our number 1 goalkeeper is very, very good, one of the best there is. And at the moment, we've got a backup who can do a job. You know, Manu's not really let us down this season when she's played. We know her faults, and we know that she's not the answer long term. And as Andreas rightly said, she might well leave anyway at the end of the season. So it's something the club will have to look at, I think, in the summer, reassess that situation with a goalkeeper, a backup goalkeeper, and see, or will they put faith in Naomi? Maybe they will. maybe she'll be the number 2, and maybe we'll see more of her next season. But at the moment, I'm not bothered because Daphne's playing, and Daphne's brilliant, and that's the most important thing, I suppose, at the minute, isn't it? But yeah, obviously an injury can happen, and yeah, that would be a bit of a disaster, wouldn't it? Ryan says, Bonmati should come to Arsenal. She must be getting bored of keep winning with Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, why don't we reach out to Bonmati and say, look, right, winning everything is boring. Come to Arsenal and you won't win anything. You'll have more fun. It'll be more fun. You won't win a trophy, but it'll be fun. But you might win the other Continental Cup or whatever it is, the Subway Cup. But you won't win a league or Champions League. But just come to Arsenal anyway, because we've got a nice dog that you can get to know and stuff like that. And I'm sure Mariona will convince her to come. There you go. But still, Greg says the only problem was changing the badge to this comic badge they've got now. Well, yeah, that wasn't a great decision, was it? And says boring Barca. Indeed, it is. That they are boring, absolutely. Terry says, Greg, you're on fire with the truth telling tonight. Again, 100% agree with you. Wayne says, the thing with Joe was we'd beat all the lesser teams, then practically lose to Chelsea every time. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was true towards the end. There's no doubt. There you go. Lucky says, do you guys think there are any world-class managers in women's football? The men has quite a few. I mean, yes, I would say. I think that the one at Chelsea is probably, you could say she's a world-class manager with what she's achieved in the game. Serena, you could probably say she's a world-class manager with what she's achieved in the game. I think there are. Are there as many as in the men's game? No, probably not. But just because there's a difference in men's and women's football maybe as well. I mean, Andreas, do you think there's too many world-class women's managers? There's probably not as many, is there, as in the men's game? I don't think there is.
Not as many as in the men's game, or we don't know enough names of the top managers. Of course, we know Serena and Emma and Sonia Bonpastor and Jonathan Giraldes from Barcelona, who is now managing in the USA. But to be honest, I don't know enough names from other top managers. So yeah, difficult to say. Maybe it's developing thing that the managers in women's football get better and better with the years. But at the moment, I couldn't name enough what I think are world-class managers in women's football. While in the men's football, you can name maybe 10 or so. Let's hope we are building or creating one world-class manager at Arsenal right now. Let's hope.
Well, who knows? Maybe in a few years' time, that's what we'll be saying. And I think maybe the reason why that's the case at the minute is because maybe there's not as much profile on the women's game, is there, in terms of internationally and stuff like that, whereas obviously with the men's game, the coverage of it, everybody knows all the managers, everybody knows all the teams because of the TV and everything else, and I think women hasn't reached that level yet, has it? So there may well be a lot of world-class managers in women's football, but either they've not been given those opportunities yet, or we're not aware of them because maybe they manage in other countries that we don't really see the football, do we? We don't really see much of the Spanish league, for example, because it's not shown on TV here. We see them playing the Champions League and we see their results and stuff, but we don't really get to, and same in the Bundesliga or in the French league and all this kind of stuff. We don't see enough of it to be able to decide which managers are good and which managers aren't. We just judge it on the teams that win and the top of the league that we see in the Champions League and stuff. Well, they must have a good manager, but maybe there's more that we'll discover as the game gets more coverage, and I think that's maybe part of what's exciting about it. There probably are more world-class managers than we know, and hopefully one day we'll see that, we'll discover it, and they'll all start to become more household names than as they are in the men's game. That is what's going to happen, isn't it? I suppose. Russell Wilson said, "It's good to see you. I hope you are doing well, as always." Terry says, "Get Keaton in from City if we're going to keep Rennes Manny." Well, no, we don't want to get Keaton in from City because she's not very good. Greg says, "Muzovic, she's used to being on the bench." Well, yeah, she's quite a good goalkeeper, actually, isn't she? She's, I think she's quite good. She's obviously dropped down since Hannah Hampton's gone to Chelsea. And B says, "I want Tooney." Yeah, but Tooney can't play in goal, can she? As good as she is. So we don't want Tony to play in goal, do we? Terry says, get that West Ham right back. She's good with her hands. Yeah, she yeah, she did quite well. Oh, she maybe played netball or something. She looked like she played netball before. But there you go. But we shall see. LG says, I have to be honest, I'm not fully sold on Daphne. She's great with her reflexes, but she hasn't convinced me on one-on-ones and coming out to claim crosses. I would have preferred Fromes, who is better. I don't know. I would say I'm probably slightly biased with Daphne because I wanted Arsenal to sign Daphne 3 years ago in the Euros when I saw her play for Holland a couple of times, and she was just brilliant. And she's still quite young for a goalkeeper. Is she the finished article yet? No, she's going to improve. She's going to keep improving. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say how many one-on-ones. I can't really remember facing too many one-on-ones actually, because the way we defended, those opportunities aren't really there that often. So I wouldn't. Maybe she hasn't convinced you because she hasn't had to do enough of it that you've seen. I don't know. Yeah, crosses are a problem anyway, aren't they? I thought the corners against West Ham, she stayed in her line. She didn't come out and command. But then if that's not your strength as a goalkeeper, then let your defenders do it. That's what they'll talk about in training, won't they? Maybe that's what they say. Look, the goalkeeper's going to stay on her line. Defenders have to deal with it. And the goalkeeper, if it comes near her, she'll save it. I mean, I don't know. But I like Daphne. I think Daphne's a brilliant goalkeeper. I think she's one of the best that there is. And yeah, you could look elsewhere. Is Fromes a better all-round goalkeeper? Maybe, and she's a great goalkeeper as well. But I think Daphne is as good as we could get. Definitely, I don't think there's too many better than her. Absolutely not. You know, I think she's better than Hannah Hampton. And Hannah Hampton, I rate her. I think she's a great goalkeeper. I think Daphne's better. I think she's better. I think she's the best goalkeeper at WSL. I do. Who's a better goalkeeper? I don't think Hannah Hampton isn't. The Man United goalkeeper isn't.
Tulis Joyce for United, she's very, very good. She plays a top season, and I think Hannah Hampton is better with her feet.
Maybe better with her feet, yeah. Yeah, she's better with her feet, yeah.
She's the best in the WSL with her feet. And I don't know whether Daphne is all in all better than Hampton. No. I think Hannah Hampton and Tulis Joyce are a little bit ahead of her, but Daphne is developing, and the crossing, and corners, that's still a weakness. But Merle Fromes, this is her weak point too, and she had not a good season first half of the season, and now she's only number 2 at Wolfsburg. She's leaving Wolfsburg, and I don't think if Merle Fromes would sign for Arsenal, I don't think she will be number 1 for us.
No, to be honest with you, I wouldn't swap Daphne for any goalkeeper in the WSL. I wouldn't swap her for anyone. I personally think she's the best goalkeeper in the league, so I wouldn't swap her. So, but you know, maybe that's just me. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, we're lucky that we've got a goalkeeper that good. I think so. That's not a problem. The problem is the number 2, of course. But I think most teams have got that same issue, haven't they? So there you go. Egg says there, that's because the women don't get the chance. Well, I don't think it's not that women don't get the chance. I mean, a lot of women's teams have got women managers. It's more the profile of the teams, isn't it? And the leagues that we don't really see enough of them, I think. It's more the profile rather than not getting a chance. LG says Gareth Taylor is world class. He's a world class tit, is what he is. But he's not a world-class manager. Absolutely not. I'm sure that was a joke, actually. Greg says, René will be the Dutch manager in the next 5 years. She might well be. She might well be. And I wouldn't rule that out. Lethal Chicken says, Taylor is world-class something. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is, yeah. Greg says, Taylor is a joke. Look how he treated Chloe. Exactly, yeah. Aggie says, Muzovic is pregnant. Is she?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Wow. Well, congratulations to Muzovic. Well done to her. Brilliant. Wayne says Muzovic is good, to be fair, and gorgeous, but she's currently yeah. Well, apparently she is. I didn't know that. So there you go. But fair enough. Greg says, "Is it mine?" Well, we don't know, Greg. You tell us. Is it yours? I don't know. It could be, couldn't it? But I'm not sure. Lucky says, "What can you do about goalkeepers going down?" Tactically, it's so annoying. Should be stopped somewhere and everything. Yeah, I must admit. And also as well, what I don't like about goalkeepers is when, you know, you're winning and there's a couple of minutes to go, they catch the ball and then they just fall on the floor holding the ball. Why do they do that? It's not just that, it's more in the men's game, but if women goalies do it as well. Why are you going down on the floor with the ball? You're on your feet, you've caught the ball, just kick it or throw it out or hold on to it for a bit. Don't fall down on the floor. That's annoys me the most. The injury thing's a bit different. I think sometimes maybe they do get injured. I don't know. Sometimes it maybe is a bit of a time wasting thing and to take momentum away from the team and stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. That is quite annoying actually. It's the one thing in women's football that I think that it's not got too much of the kind of time wasting that happens in the men's game. You don't really see it very often at all. That is the one thing that you do get. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't like it. Maybe the referees need to start getting yellow cards out. It's the only way to stop anything in football, really, isn't it? Start booking people, and then maybe you'll see a difference. Vicky says 9 minutes extra time due to time wasting on Sunday. Well, I don't know where that time came from, actually. When the ball went up, it's like 9 minutes. Honestly, I was expecting about 5 or 4 or 5. So, but anyway, we got through the 9 minutes, didn't we? Lethal Chicken says, I have no idea where they got 9 minutes from. No, I haven't either. It's usually when Chelsea are playing and losing, they get 9 minutes to score a goal. It was unusually a game when Chelsea aren't playing. There was no need for 9 minutes, was it? Anyway, we survived and got through it, so it didn't matter too much, did it? But yeah, I mean, West Ham was a fantastic game. Obviously, we won it, and it was great, and we all enjoyed it, really, didn't we? Yes, we could pick holes in certain aspects of what we play. We said, but when you win a game in adverse situations like that, I think we have to celebrate it and enjoy the fact that this team have shown some character, and they've shown character 1 or 2 times. The Bayern Munich game earlier in the season, we've shown good character there as well. So, that's a positive thing, and hopefully we can take a lot of those positives into the rest of the season, because we've got some big games coming up, of course, starting on Sunday. The FA Cup, our competition. It's our competition. We need to get that trophy back, don't we? So, of course, Liverpool without a manager. Of course, Matt Beard is no longer there. That was a bit of a shock, wasn't it, last week? So they've got a few issues, I suppose, internally at the club by the look of it. And that could work in our favour anyway. It could be a good time to play them maybe. But I don't think we need to worry too much about Liverpool. It's all about how we play on the day, because if we play anywhere near our top level, we should be too good for Liverpool and we should go through to the semi-final. Never take anything for granted in football. I certainly never do. We saw that last week, didn't we? We were 2-0 down in no time. But I expect us to go through. And I expect there to be a few changes to the team lineup maybe as well. Obviously, Chloe Kelly can't play anyway, so she'll definitely not be in the team. But I think there might be 1 or 2 other changes. I mean, Andreas, what are you anticipating for this game? Obviously, you're flying over tomorrow for the game. What are you kind of expecting in the game tomorrow, on Sunday? Sorry,
it's a total different situation because it's a cup game, it's knockout, and as we say, it's do or die. There's no draw possible. Either you win or you're out. So Liverpool can't play a low block for 90 minutes or only defend and wait. They can't rely on extra time or the penalty shootout. So it will be an open game, I hope, and this will work in our favor. I hope so. Changes in the lineup, yes, I expect Kyra to start and Caitlin to start, and as Chloe is cup tied, so maybe Beth, if she's fit, will get a chance. The rest is predictable in our team. No more changes, and we have the better squad, the better team. I looked at Liverpool season so far, or in 2025, they beaten Brighton 2-1, West Ham and Palace each 1-0. Of course, this West Ham and Palace are games they should win, yes, but Brighton 2-1, no, not the worst result. And a few names. They have Rachel Laws in goal. I remember that she was very good against us 1 or 2 seasons ago. In defense, Grace Fisk, we know Gemma Bonner. Then they have 2 loanees from Chelsea, Alejandra Bernabé, a Spanish player, and Julia Bartel, also on loan from Chelsea. Then they have Sam Kerr, not not the Sam Kerr from Chelsea, but the Scottish Sam Kerr, who is on loan from Bayern Munich, a good defensive midfielder. And in the offense, Olivia Smith, very good striker.
Yes.
But I think this was one of the mistakes Liverpool made in the transfer window last summer. They threw all the money on Olivia Smith to get her, and they forgot to sign more depth for the squad. And that's what didn't work out. Then they had a few injuries, and now they sacked the manager, or did he retire by himself? It's not quite clear. But it's a bad moment to change manager in the middle of the second half of the season. Of course, they are hoping for a Renee effect now with an interim manager, female interim manager. But anyway, we are at home at Meadow Park, and yeah, the crowd will be behind the team, and there will be a strong atmosphere. Yeah, and we saw how motivated our team is, and I think everybody wants to go to the next round. Everybody has Wembley in mind, and to reach Wembley, we first have to beat Liverpool. I'm expecting us to win, and my prediction is once again 2-0. There must be a game when we win 2-0. I say it every time, so there will be a game when we will win 2-0, and let's hope it's in normal time, that we don't need extra time, and of course better for everybody's hearts and blood pressure not to go into a penalty shootout. Please not.
No. We don't want none of that. We don't really want extra time, because we've got a lot of games coming up.
Yeah.
Big games in the next couple of weeks. It'd be nice not to have to go through extra time anyway. But if we turn up with anywhere near our best sort of form, we will be too strong for Liverpool, I'm sure. But no, you're right. They've had some half decent results. They're doing okay, aren't they? They're always a difficult team to play against. You're never going to beat them 6 or 7-0, are you? It's always going to be a difficult game, and I'm sure it's going to be a difficult game on Sunday. Absolutely. And I'll say it every week. It's a cup game more so than ever. Let's just win. If it's 1-0, 2-1, if it's a scrappy result, it doesn't matter in the cup. All it matters is going through, especially at this stage of the tournament. You look at the teams that's left in it. You look at the draw. It's going to be probably tough in the semi-final, because it's going to probably be the top 4 teams in the semi-final, isn't it? That's how the draw's kind of worked out. You expect them all to go through. I do. So it's going to be a tough semi-final, but you're going to have to beat the good teams at some point if you're going to lift the cup, like one or two of them. So let's embrace it. Let's turn up on Sunday. Let's put in a performance. And I think you're right. I think losing the League Cup game that we did a few weeks ago, now suddenly the FA Cup, I think even more focus. Everybody wants to win that now. We know what it's like to win a cup now. Last couple of seasons, we've got experience of that. We want to do it again, and obviously the FA Cup's the one to win, isn't it? Because it's a trip to Wembley, and it's even better, isn't it? Than the League Cup was great, but the FA Cup would just be something different again. So let's do it. We've got to get past Liverpool first. We can't look too far ahead, can we? If we want to be at Wembley in May, we've got to beat Liverpool now on Sunday, and then we can deal with a semi-final, whoever it is that we get against. But let's win that game first, because that's the most important thing. So all we can do, isn't it? Lethal Chicken says, I think the team will have had a reality check from last week and bring their A game on Sunday. Yeah, hopefully you're right. I agree. Maybe the lessons that we've learned from that game, we can put to good use, can't we, on Sunday, and hopefully we won't make those same mistakes again, and we can get through with a little bit less stress than we suffered last week. Terry says, should make goalkeepers leave the pitch if they're injured. That was soon. Well, it would do, yeah, exactly. Play on, don't worry. They'll soon come back on, won't they? They won't roll around pretending to be injured if the game carries on. Lucky says, Smith is very good. Yeah, no, she's a very good player, Lisa Smith. Yeah, absolutely she is. Greg says, Manu will start, which will give the game a bit of jeopardy. Well, no, that's true. It might well give the game a bit of jeopardy, yeah. Lucky says, bet we get Chelsea in the semi. Well, let's assume that we've got to get through first. Let's not take it for granted. If we do get through, then on Sunday we'll talk about whether we might get Chelsea in the semi-final. They might get knocked out. Who knows? Maybe Crystal Palace will beat them. Who knows? We said we don't have many shock results in women's football. Maybe this is a chance in the cup for Crystal Palace to beat Chelsea. Who knows? That'd be great, wouldn't it? There you go. Terry says they don't want the Renee effect. They was already playing rubbish football. They were doing all right, actually. Greg says 5-1. Our defence needs tightening up. Well, 5-1 would be fantastic. I'm not sure if it's going to quite work like that, but who knows? Ryan says, not sure if Manu will play if we are serious about winning the cup. I mean, I don't know. She's probably not going to play in the Champions League game coming up, you wouldn't imagine. So maybe she will play. I wouldn't be surprised if she does play, actually. I think she probably will. LG says, Olivia Smith was linked to Arsenal before Liverpool. We should have signed her. Always gets fouled, meaning she's a handful for defenders. No, she is. She's a good player. I didn't realise she was linked to Arsenal, actually. But, yeah, she's been a good signing. She maybe will in the future. Joe says, with Kelly, Mead and Ford on the wings, where do we play Mariona instead of Frida? Yeah, I would say probably more centrally, yeah. If that's how we set up, I would say that's probably a good place for her to play, isn't it? She's played well there, hasn't she, in that sort of number 10 position, if you like. But, yeah, we'll see, yeah. Unless Mariona maybe gets rested, who knows? I wouldn't have thought so. LG says, Chelsea will get Man City in the semi-finals. They'll play each other 5 times in a month. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? That would be good. I'm sick of playing each other. And then obviously, if that was the case, we'll probably obviously get Man U, assuming that we both go through, which I wouldn't mind. I think we can beat Man U. I think we can beat Man City in the semi-final, actually. And we can probably beat Chelsea. Let's be honest, we've played them twice, and we're unfortunate to lose both of those games in different reasons. So I wouldn't necessarily mind playing Chelsea again, because I think we can get our revenge, because we were close to beating them on both occasions. So who knows? Greg says, let's hope Palova gets some minutes. Yeah, I'm sure she'll get some minutes on Sunday. I don't think she'll start. I don't think she's ready to start. Hopefully she can come on this game. I think last week's game, I think the plan was to bring her on, but the way the game went, it probably wasn't the best game to bring her on into, was it? So, but hopefully this week she'll get a chance to come on. So yeah, I mean, get your score prediction. Obviously, Andreas has gone 2-0, which is his go-to score at the moment. Every game seems to be 2-0. He's got one right, so let's be that'll be right, wouldn't it? Yes, obviously, I think we'll win. I think we should be too strong for Liverpool. Yeah, Manu in goal. The potential of Manu in goal does worry me slightly. So maybe we'll concede. But actually, we've not conceded in the FA Cup yet this season, have we? I don't think. I think we won 2-0 against London City.
Yeah.
We won 5-0 against Crystal Palace. Yeah, so we haven't let in the goal. We're not going to let in the goal. We're going to keep another clean sheet. I'll go 3-0 because I think ultimately we'll be too good for Liverpool. I've gone 3-1. Well, yeah, 3-1 will do. Let's just get through. Lethal Chicken says Chelsea at Meadow Park. That'll be a good game. Well, it would be a good game, but I think if we played Chelsea at home, it would probably be at the Emirates, wouldn't it? Probably, if the Emirates wasn't being used that weekend, you'd imagine they'd play that at the Emirates, wouldn't you? But who knows? Maybe they wouldn't. Terry says we were unlucky against Chelsea twice. If only they didn't score more goals than us. Well, yeah, exactly. That's kind of key to it, isn't it? Really. But so yeah, let's look forward to that game on Sunday. It's going to be a good game. I'm sure it will. And yeah, it's another game at Meadow Park. We didn't seem to have any at Meadow Park for ages, and then suddenly now we seem to have had a load at Meadow Park quite quickly, one after the other. And of course, we do play Liverpool at the Emirates very soon as well, don't we, at the end of the month? So it's all happening, isn't it, at the minute? But yeah, we should win. We should be in the semi-final, and we're going to look forward to hopefully that happening. So yeah, let's enjoy the game on Sunday. Terry's gone 5-0 or Utmed Rene. Well, no, I mean 5-0 would be great, but Liverpool, you don't often get a 5-0 against Liverpool. No one does really. They look at their results. The games are quite tight. They're quite difficult to play against. But I think we've got too much for them, and I think we will win. And it's going to be good. And of course, Andreas will have another vlog for us, I'm sure. And hopefully, Gunnosaurus might appear this time because he wasn't there, was he, last week? He wasn't there at all, was he?
No, I haven't seen him last Sunday.
Was he on holiday? Or what's going on? What's going on there? I don't know. He should be there, shouldn't he? Come on, he's got to do his job. It's not like Arsenal men are at home this weekend because we're not. So he doesn't need to be at the Emirates. So he's got nothing else to do on Sunday. So if he's not there, there should be questions need to be asked. If he's not there on Sunday, I think. 110 volts has got to agree with 3-1. Yeah, we'll take a 3-1. I'll take a 1-0, to be honest. I'll take a scrappy 1-0. I'm not bothered. As long as we win and go through, that's all I care about. Ryan says, yeah, more like 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 will do. Lucky says, no, City beat Chelsea in all 4 games. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be good. But anyway, let's see what happens. I'm sure that won't be the case. But yeah, we'd like that, wouldn't we? As I said earlier on, of course, because of the rescheduling of our game next weekend against Everton, it's now on a Friday night, which is okay, but it just means that it's inconvenient for us because it takes up our show time, doesn't it? And having a game on a Friday night, it's no good. They need to be told, really, quite honestly. It's not good enough. Anyway, Lucky's gone 4-0, so that's all right. We'll take that, won't we? We'll take a 4-0, no problem at all. So next Friday we haven't got a show. We won't be able to do it on Friday because the game's on, and we all want to watch the game, won't we? Of course we will. And it is a game that shouldn't be as difficult as it has been for us in the last couple of times we've played Everton. We've sort of struggled a bit, haven't we? We drew 1-1 away last season, and we drew 0-0, of course, at the Emirates earlier this season. So we've struggled against Everton for some reason, and they're a bit of a hit and miss team themselves, aren't they? They have good games, they have poor games, they lose some games you don't expect them to lose, and then they'll win a game you don't expect them to win, or get a draw against us, for example. So I think that's going to be quite a difficult game. And I think with the Champions League coming up, the next game in the week, maybe minds could be distracted slightly as well, and it's natural. You should concentrate on one game at a time, and I'm sure that they will. But I think at the back of your mind, you're thinking, aren't you? There's a Champions League game on Tuesday, and I think that could have an impact. Hopefully, it won't do, but we shall see. Anyway, we might as well talk about that game because we aren't going to get a show in beforehand. So it's the next game that we'll have. So let's have a listen and talk about it. So having a way I say, last season we thought we'd won when Leslie scored with about 5 minutes to go, and then of course in the end Everton scored that goal right at the end, didn't they? Almost last seconds of the game, the teenager scored, and of course I say at the Emirates we just were really poor that day, wasn't we? We couldn't get the breakthrough, and that was of course one of Jonas's last matches. Of course, that was right near the very end of his time. But things have changed obviously since then. We're playing with a lot more confidence now. The team are absolutely flying, and I don't anticipate us having as many problems this time against Everton as we have done in recent times. I mean, Andreas, what do you think is going to happen on Friday? It's a Friday night game, which I don't know if we always play well on a Friday when we've played before, but we should take care of this game, shouldn't we, this time?
Yeah, but this game will be influenced by the FA Cup game against Liverpool. If we go through, then self-confidence is growing. Don't want to think if we go out against Liverpool, then the pressure would be enormous high for the WSL. And of course, every player will think already on the Madrid away game a few days later. So you can't switch your mind off and say, I don't want to think on the next game because it's Champions League and it's Real Madrid, such a big name. So a few percent will be in their mind already thinking of the Champions League game. So this will be also difficult. And I checked the Everton season so far. They scored only 14 goals in their games.
Right.
And with 14 goals scored, they get 16 points. So, and the 14 goals is the third weakest number in the WSL. Only Leicester and Palace have scored less goals. So, and they got their point at the Emirates with scoring no goal, 0-0. But now I don't want to be remembered of this game. This was terrible performance from us, and we are much better now. Everton this year in 2025, they have beaten Villa 2-0 and Leicester 4-1. Of course, two teams they should beat to stay in the WSL, but well, they had to beat them and they delivered. And a few names from the squad in goal: Courtney Brosnan or Emily Ramsey, two good goalkeepers. In defense, they have signed in January window Maren Mjelde. We all know her from Chelsea. Of course, she's now, I think, 36. Not the player with the best pace or something like that, but her experience will help this team. And in midfield, Hayley Ladd, a name we know, or the Italian international Aurora Galli, the Holmgard sisters, Danish internationals. And in the offense, they have Katja Snøys. She scored against us, I think, in last season. Then, Melissa Lawley, Rieke Madsen, good players. But once again, they only scored 14 goals so far. So yeah, we should be able to control them. And if we bring our normal performance on next Friday, then we will win there. And I'm optimistic and say no, I don't say 2-0 this time. I say 3-1. And yeah, we need the 3 points to be in the race for the Champions League spot. And hopefully it won't be too exciting match. Maybe early goals for us that we can give other players a chance. And yeah, as one of our viewers said, Vicky Pelova needs minutes. So hopefully against Liverpool or Everton, when the game is already settled and we are on the winning way, that she can get minutes. A bit of rotation against Everton, hopefully possible, because we all think on the Madrid game a few days later. Yeah, I say we win 3-1 and get the 3 points. Job done. Let's hope it will come this way.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, we just need to keep winning, don't we, in all the competitions? And yeah, I think the Everton game is gonna be tough because we've struggled against them recently anyway. And like you said, we've got the Champions League game the Tuesday after, and I do think that is a distraction. I mean, it's a big distraction, and it's a massive game. And of course, the players are going to have it on their mind a little bit. Of course, they are. We are as fans as well. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. But we have got these 2 games to come first, and we need positive results in both of them. I do think that we should be able to deal with Everton this time. I'd say the set of circumstances around the first game at the Emirates were not great for us, really. And we did struggle a lot in that game. And I think last season's game away, I don't know what the problem was, actually. We just found that game really difficult, didn't we? We had to struggle to get into the lead late on, and then, of course, we threw it away right at the end. So that was frustrating. But I don't expect anything like that this time. And yeah, I agree. I hope against Everton on Friday, we get the job done early. We can make substitutions. We can rest players ahead of Tuesday. We don't have to keep them all on for 90 minutes because the job's done. That's what I'm hoping. That's the ideal solution, isn't it? We're 2 or 3-0 up at half time. The game's won, done and dusted. And then we can, rotate the squad a little bit more, which I think could be important ahead of that game. LG says our game against Liverpool is on the same time as Liverpool versus Man United at Anfield. Is it? Oh, right. Okay. Well, is it really? Is that on Friday as well? Is it? Okay. Lucky says, when's the semi-final draw? Oh, that's a good question. When is the semi-final draw? Is that on Monday?
I don't know.
Monday, isn't it? I think it's Monday.
Final itself is on 12th or 13th April.
The draw now will be probably Monday night, won't it? The draw.
Yeah.
I would imagine, but yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I don't want to think about that until we're in it. After we beat Liverpool, we'll then have a look and see when the draw is, and we'll talk about it on the show on Sunday. Because I don't like to think too much ahead in the cup games, because I think it puts a bad luck on it. Terry says, why do they always put us on a Sunday or Friday night when we're playing in Liverpool? Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be the way, doesn't it? LG says, we shouldn't take Everton lightly. Absolutely not. We've drawn our last 2 games against them with enough. Yeah, we have, yeah. I mean, strange how it works, isn't it? Ryan says, sticky toffees. Well, they've been sticky for us, haven't they? The last couple of games we've played against them, they definitely have. But hopefully they won't be this time. John said, I'm sensing a loss against Everton. Are you really? The January signs have been good, especially Mario Mielja. Well, yeah, they've made some good signings, but you really think they're going to beat us? I don't know. I'm not feeling that at the minute, I must admit. But anyway, Lucky says Everton beat City, Chelsea struggled against them. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. Of course not. I don't think that any game's that easy, really, but we should beat them, shouldn't we? Let's be honest. We should beat them. City tend to have those games, though, don't they? City quite often will drop points in a game you don't expect them to. So hopefully we won't do the same. I mean, we obviously drew with them last year, though. Terry says, I see we're doing the girls' own merch now, and the badges the right way around. Yes, I saw that actually today. There's a line of leisure wear, if you like, designed for the Arsenal women's team. separate to the men's league, which I kind of think is good. I mean, I know we complain on the show quite a lot that the club release too much merchandise, and they do, but I think it's nice that they've got merchandise just for the women's team or women's fans, and I kind of like that idea, and I think it's good. So I don't mind that too much, as long as they don't start going down the same route and releasing new stuff every 2 weeks. Don't do that, but I like the idea of having separate kind of clothing range for each. I like that. I think that's a good idea. I always like the fact that I think the Arsenal women's team should have a different away kit to the men's team as well. The home kit should be the same, of course, red and white. Arsenal, fantastic, that's what we want. But I think the away kit should be different. I know was it last season when we had that third kit, which was different, wasn't it? Was it Stella McCartney one? And I kind of think we should do that every season. We should have a different away kit to the men's team. Obviously, the home kit has to be the same. But yeah, that's something we can maybe look at. Greg says they're all average players, nothing to worry about. Well, I mean, if you look at their league position, you'd have to agree that they're an average. They look an average team, but they're capable of beating anyone on their day. We just need to turn up and we'll be fine. Greg says, let's get the 2-0 prediction out of the way. Well, it was 3-1 this time, wasn't it, from Andre? A little bit different. Like he says, I think the Everton game could be a banana skin. Well, it could be a banana skin, yeah. It's got the potential to be a banana skin, but I'm fairly confident that we'll get a result. I think the momentum that we've got, yeah, the result against Liverpool might make a difference. If we struggle and lose to Liverpool, then the Madrid game coming up so quickly, it could be a tougher game. I think if we beat Liverpool on Sunday, I fully expect us to go to Everton and win. Honestly, I do. I don't think it'll be easy. I agree. I think if we're looking at something like a 2-1, I would say maybe 1-0, a 2-1, a tight game, 3-2 maybe, looking at the recent game. But I don't know. I think that, we'll win and we'll keep that momentum going, of course, to go into the Champions League game against Real Madrid, which is going to be spectacular, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's what we missed out on last year, not being in the Champions League. So, we need to make the most of it. It's a good draw. We said that before. We're excited for the game. It's a game we can certainly win. Absolutely, we can. So let's look forward to that one. But let's not get too carried away. We've got 2 big games to come against the 2 teams from Liverpool first. We've got to win both of them before we can even think about Real Madrid. What we'll have to try and do, I know it's going to be difficult, isn't it? I want to try and get a show in before the Real Madrid game at some point. Whether we can maybe do it the Monday before, might be an idea. I don't know would that work, Andreas, for you?
I'm just checking.
Because that would be what date would that be? The 17th, I think, isn't it?
The 17th. No. I'm at home on the 17th. I have the German podcast Mondays, but it's an hour earlier. So if we start, maybe we can start 7:45 then instead of 7:30. Then the German talk should be over, and I can join here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's go for that, because that way then we can look back on the Liverpool and the Everton game. We can look ahead to Madrid, because I don't want to talk about Madrid now because it's too far in the future. Yeah. There's too many games to come in the meantime. There could be injuries, there could be all sorts going on. So let's do that for that Monday. I think that'll be good. That'll be a good time to do it, and that way we can be excited about the Real Madrid game as well. We can look ahead to that one, which is going to be exciting, isn't it?
Greg says on this Monday at 7:30. I just see in my calendar that the German talk is on Sunday the 16th, for example. And so we can do Monday 7:30. It's okay.
That's perfect. Look at that. That's worked out well, hasn't it? That's good stuff. So that'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So we'll do that. We'll put that we'll get that in the schedule. Greg says, as long as we can cope with the northern smog, we'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool's all right, actually. Liverpool's quite nice. Joe says, I'd sooner Manu play Everton and Liverpool. Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm not. Oh, that's the interesting one, isn't it? She's probably going to play in one of them games. My guess is she'll play against Liverpool in the Cup. I don't know. I think against Everton, I don't know. Would we prefer Manu in goal against Everton? No, I wouldn't.
Maybe it's a good idea to play Daphne against Liverpool. Yeah, I would prefer that. And if you want to give Manu game time, well, not against Madrid, then I prefer against Everton than against Madrid. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think at the minute look, I don't think Manu's going to necessarily cost us a chance to win any game that she plays in necessarily. Yes, she does sometimes concede some soft goals. We know that. But she's going to probably play in one of them games. Let's be honest, she will. My feeling is she'll play against Liverpool. That is my feeling. And Daphne will play against Everton because Daphne plays in the WSL. Daphne is bound to play against Real Madrid. So, yeah, I would say I expect Manu to play against Liverpool, if I'm honest. And I would maybe prefer that, actually, really, if I'm honest as well. So, let's see. I didn't really think about that before you mentioned it. Now I'm worried about what game should Manu play in. But I'll go Liverpool. I'll play against Liverpool. LG says over 100 people watching the show right now. Well, there is actually. I don't know. Suddenly the views seem to suddenly shoot up, which is good. Don't forget, give us a like as well. And if you are new to the channel, you maybe not watched us before, please consider subscribing because we do obviously cover the Arsenal women as well. We do put a lot of effort into the shows with the women's team. There's a watch along on Sunday of the game as well. So yeah, please get on board with us and join in with the chat as well because there's some great people here, and we're all one big family. Greg says, I prefer Manu in Austria. Well, yeah, let her play for Austria, but I do think she's going to play one of them games, and we're going to have to, deal with it. But anyway, let's see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's a big few weeks coming up, isn't it? We've got the FA Cup reaching the quarterfinal stage. We've got the Champions League reaching the quarterfinal stage. We've got some big WSL games to come as we look to seal our place in the top three, maybe even better. So yeah, let's enjoy what's coming up, but let's also, be cautious a little bit because, we can't take anything for granted. It's a big part of the season, and this is where it matters, isn't it? We've won a lot of games, in the build-up now, haven't we, since Renee's been in charge? But now is when it really matters, isn't it? This is where you find out about your team, when the pressure's on, and the games you have to win. Can we win enough of them and get the results that we need? I think we can, but we're going to find out, aren't we, next couple of weeks? It's going to be exciting, there's no doubt. LG says the Everton game is bigger, top three is on the line, DVD should start. I mean, I don't necessarily say the Everton game is bigger, it's a big game, but then I think the FA Cup's a big competition for us because it's a great opportunity to win a trophy. And, we've won a trophy the last 2 seasons, win a trophy this season, fantastic. Yeah, we could win a Champions League. I'm not ruling that out. I think we're good enough, but that's more difficult to win, isn't it? As things stand at the minute, a quarter-final at home to Liverpool, I think that, we've got a great chance of doing something in that cup. But, yeah, I would play Daphne against Everton anyway because she's played in the WSL anyway. Ryan says, where are the likes? There should be some more likes, shouldn't there? Come on, we've got a lot of people watching. 110 volts says, just subscribe. Good show, guys. Thank you very much. Look forward to, hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of what we do as well. Join us Sunday because we've got the game on, of course, on Sunday. I don't know where all these people have come from watching today, which is great, actually. So we welcome you all in to the show. Hope you are enjoying it. Yeah, do give us a like as well because the likes do seem quite low compared to the number of people watching. So definitely give us a like. Even if you don't like it, give us a like anyway. And then, just tell us that you don't like it and then we can try and improve. It's like Arsenal's performance last week. We didn't play particularly well against West Ham. They're going to work on it during the week and improve for the next game on Sunday. And if you don't like the show, then we'll try and work and we'll improve to make it better for you next time, won't we? That's what we'll do. But yeah, that's it's an exciting week to come, isn't it? 2 big games, and then of course the Champions League the week after. So we are getting excited already for all of this stuff that's coming up. So yes, as we say every Friday, it is the start of the weekend. Now the weekend can officially start because the Arsenal Women's Show has finished. So we are getting in the mood for a good weekend. I think the weather's going to be nice here. Have you got good weather over there in Germany, Andreas, for the weekend?
Yes, we have pre-springtime, 15 degrees at the moment. So it's similar to England, and I hope that you have good weather on the weekend. And I'm flying over tomorrow, late afternoon. So would be nice to have 15 degrees at Meadow Park and not 5 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. I think it's predicted to be quite nice this weekend, the weather, so it should be good. I think Saturday and Sunday. I think it's going to be colder here next week, actually, again, for a few days. And then we're going to get some better weather again towards the end of the month. But, yeah, just enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a good weekend. Arsenal are going to win. We're going to beat Liverpool. We're going to be in the FA Cup semi-final. And, of course, Andreas is there. So, again, if you do see Andreas at Meadow Park on Sunday, like Vicky did last week, do go and say hello. He likes to meet you. It'd be great. And of course, we are expecting a Gunnosaurus appearance on the vlog as well this week. You have to have a word with Andreas. Say, where were you last week? Because we missed you. You have to tell him. Make sure he doesn't miss a game. He can't miss a game. He can't afford to miss a game. We need him. He's important to be on the vlog, isn't he? So I'm sure he'll be there. So we'll be here as well on Sunday. Of course, the game kicks off at 2:30, which is a strange time really on a Sunday. But anyway, it is what it is. So we'll be here about 2:15 to bring you coverage of the game. It is going to be really, really good. And let's hope for a good victory, of course. The men are playing as well later on in the afternoon. So I'll see how I feel. It depends if this game goes to extra time or not anyway, to start with. If it goes to extra time, it's going to run into that game anyway. Of course, if it doesn't, then we'll consider whether to watch that game as well. We'll see. But we'll definitely cover the women's game. No doubt about that. Greg says, great start. A great show as always. Great start to the weekend. Indeed, it is a great start to the weekend. Thank you very much. Vicky says, we'll be there on Sunday. Oh, good stuff. Of course, you'll be playing anyway, won't you? You'll be playing in midfield probably for the last 10 minutes. Of course, you'll be there. LG says, been a regular on the show since January 2023 after a frustrating 0-0 draw. I remember that game against West Ham, yes. That was very frustrating, wasn't it? That was when we should. Wasn't that the one we had loads and loads of chances and couldn't score? Yes. It finished 0-0, didn't it? And the goalie played well. It was Mackenzie Arnold.
Yeah, she had the best game of her life in this against us. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I remember that was a frustrating game. That wasn't it. We should have won that game about 4-0. I see West Ham's another team that we've generally had problems with against, haven't we, in recent years, like Everton. So we obviously had problems with them last week as well. Let's hope that this is going to be different this time. But I mean, Liverpool beat us last season at the Emirates, didn't they? So we've had struggles against them. We seem to have struggles against everybody, but I'm sure we'll get the positive result on Sunday, and it's going to be good. So I say obviously Vicky's there, Andreas is there. I'm sure there'll be loads of you there, and enjoy it if you are going. 170 says FA should plan the schedule better. The men and women games often overlap. No, you absolutely. I mean, we've been saying this probably for 2 or 3 years now. I know it's difficult to plan it all, but what annoys me is I can't see any reason why the women couldn't have played on Saturday. The women's game couldn't have been on Saturday because the men's game's been on Sunday for a while. The Man United game. This is a recent fixture because the draw was only made a few weeks ago.
Boreham Wood is playing on Saturday at home. The men's team.
Well, we could have played it at the Emirates then. We could have played at the Emirates then because the Emirates isn't being used.
Yeah, that would be a solution. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not as simple as that. I mean, we can easily sit here and say, well, let's schedule it then. I know there's more involved in scheduling a game than just saying, well, there's a space there, there's a space there. It does seem a little bit frustrating that it happens quite a lot, doesn't it? That the two teams either play at the same time or they're on the same day, and it makes it difficult to enjoy both games. And I find that frustrating, I must admit. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. It affects all of us, doesn't it? Most of us want to watch the men's game and the women's game. And unfortunately, sometimes that's been taken away from us a little bit, that they are overlapping or they're played simultaneously or sometimes one straight after the other. Maybe they need to look at it a little bit more, but what they can do sometimes, I don't know, it is fixed. I mean, could Boreham Wood not have played tonight? Could they not have moved the game to a Friday night? Maybe done that. So the stadium was free on Saturday for our game. I don't know. The pitch is bad enough as it is actually without playing 2 days in a row on it. But it's going to be anyway because they're playing Saturday, we're playing Sunday. So we're going to get the worst of the pitch, aren't we? Couldn't they switch Boreham Wood to the Sunday? That's what they should have done. Switch that one to the Sunday. Anyway, there probably was solutions that could have been found, but they decided to go with it as it was. And, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. We'll enjoy the women's game anyway. We'll catch the men's game or bits of it if we can as well after. And hopefully it'll be 2 wins. This is what we want. LG says, I still haven't recovered from the 2-0 Birmingham loss, which was on the same day as the men's all-white defeat at Forest in the FA Cup. Were they on the same day? Were they? Obviously, I remember both of those 2 games. I remember that Birmingham game was just, that cost us the league, didn't it? Was just came from nowhere, that defeat as well. It was the only defeat in the league all season. That was a tough one to take. What's that men's game against Forest that same day? I didn't realise that. What that Christ, that must have been, that was a bad day. I'm surprised any of us have recovered from that one. That would have been a terrible day, wouldn't it? But yeah, I remember both of them games. I didn't realise they were on the same day. Wow. But anyway, that's not going to happen again, is it? We're not going to suffer a day like that again. We probably have done since, actually, but we're not going to this Sunday. This Sunday, we're getting 2 wins. The women are winning, the men are winning, and it's all going to be great for the sunny weekend that we've got. So let's not think too much about horrible defeats, because they just depress us too much. So we're going to enjoy the weekend, aren't we? So there we go. Another Arsenal Women's show. This is, I believe, this is the longest running regular Arsenal Women's show on YouTube. I believe it is. I think we've had the most episodes. I don't think that some may have started before us. I don't know. I can't remember any before, but we've definitely had we're the most regular one. We've done the most shows, definitely. So thank you very much to everybody for joining us. I say lots of people watching tonight, which has been fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed it and you want to come back again. We're here Sunday for the game, so join us for that. The next Arsenal Women's show won't be next Friday because we'll be covering the game. It will be the Monday after, where we'll be looking back on the 2 games against the Liverpool teams, and of course looking ahead to the Champions League quarter-final, Real Madrid. Well, exciting times, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's exciting times, and we're going to enjoy it all while we can, I'm sure. Obviously, Andreas, thank you very much for. Obviously, you managed to join us this week. Wasn't expecting it because obviously you're flying a bit later this week. Did they manage to get you a better flight on Saturday? Did they this time?
Yeah, it was surprising. This time the fare on the early flight on Saturday was cheaper than for the late flight on Friday. Yeah, I have to check it every time, and what they offer I have to take. And then on Monday I can't return on Monday because they want more than £400 for a flight on Monday. It's ridiculous. So I fly on Tuesday very early. It's the normal price on Tuesday morning. It's strange, but you have to check it every time. So this time I'm lucky to be in the show and fly tomorrow. I'll be at Meadow Park. There will be another match day vlog, I hope. And for all who want to attend the game, just be aware there is again no Thameslink service, no train to Boreham Wood. There's industrial work again, like last weekend. I'm an expert now. So take the bus 107 or 292 from Edgware to Boreham Wood. It's very easy. And the pre-match meeting from the supporters club is not at the Good Companion, as they are closed on Sunday morning. So you have to enter the stadium, and then there is a possibility to sit inside if you want a pre-match meeting. After the game, the Good Companion, the pub is open where you can watch the men's game. Just information from me.
No, that's pretty useful. So if you are going to the game, that's interesting to know, isn't it? They want us to use public transport, and then they make it difficult for us to use public transport, which seems a bit crazy, really, because it happens all the time, doesn't it? There's train strikes, or there's works, or there's something going on, and you can never get a train, and they want you to use public transport. Well, if you want us to use it, make it available for us, and we will use it. But if it's not available for us, you're forcing us into driving our cars, aren't you? But anyway, if you are going to the game, just be aware of that. No Thameslink again. So yeah, not ideal, really, is it? But not only the games clashing, it's difficult to actually get to Meadow Park at all due to the train. So there you go. But there are buses running and stuff like that. So drive. Don't worry about the environment. Just drive. It's fine. There's good places to park as well around the ground, so you can find somewhere to park if you are driving. But it doesn't matter if you are going. Enjoy the game because it is going to be good, I'm sure. And do say hello to Andreas if you do see him. Thanks to everyone for watching. Obviously, fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight. And all the comments as well, as always, fantastic stuff. Terry says, Richard Lordy, thanks for another Friday night blinder. Greg and all in the chat, come and you go to goals. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all on Sunday. Indeed, we will see you all on Sunday. LG says, the men are winning. Arteta has other players. Well, yeah, he probably does, let's be honest. But, we need to like be optimistic until we can't be optimistic anymore because the game's happened and it's played. But for now, we'll assume we might win 2 games. Who knows? The women will win anyway. That's the main thing, isn't it? We'll be happy about that. And if the men can follow suit, then all the better. But we're not necessarily convinced they will, are we? But we live in hope. We always live in hope, though. It's all you can do, isn't it? But Sunday's going to be good. So, yeah, join us for that. 2:15 or so, I'll be here for the build up to that game, and of course the full match commentary as always. It's going to be good. FA Cup quarter final. Come on, let's do it. Let's get to that semi-final. It's going to be exciting times are coming. So we'll be here Sunday, and of course we'll be here next Friday for the game against Everton, and of course the Monday after that, which is the 17th, for the next women's show. So that's going to be good as well. So yeah, loads of great stuff to come on the channel. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you to Andreas as always for his insights and statistics, which I know Greg doesn't like, but we like them, so keep them coming. And also the information, of course, the travel information and the meet-up information as well for Sunday's game. If you are going and you want to have a meet-up before the game, get in the ground early and meet up inside the ground and do that, that'd be good. But there was queues last week, wasn't there, actually? Before the game, you said, didn't you? We saw it on the blog, all the queues to get in, which is mad, really. You know, incredible. I remember when you used to be able to turn up at Meadow Park 5 minutes before kickoff and just walk straight in. Those days are long gone now, aren't they? Which is good. It really isn't. It's good for the game, I suppose. But yeah, so get there early Sunday, get involved, get to meet Andreas as well. You can even get a picture with him and take that. That'd be a souvenir for life, wouldn't it? Get a picture of Andreas at the game. It'd be worth a few quid that in some time as well. So definitely get your picture done if you can. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you. Thanks to Andreas, of course. Thanks to you guys. We will see you Sunday. It's going to be a good weekend. The sun's out. Arsenal are going to win. What more do you want? What more do you want from life? Nothing really. That's all we wanted it. So enjoy. The weekend starts. Come on, you Gunners. We will see you Sunday. Take it easy, guys. See you soon.
Bye.